Hi there, it's Luke Frye, CPA and accounting tech enthusiast, and I'm here to talk a little bit about Puzzle's new AI close feature. I've always really enjoyed, in part because I got to help work on the month-end close checklist that was directly embedded within the general ledger, which I think is pretty novel. They've taken it one step further by adding AI agents. And they have some out-of-the-box default ones, but you can also create your own. So first look at the client call. I'm going to click review. It says, give me a summary of the business with 3 or 5 talking points. In this situation, maybe I forgot I had a client call, or maybe I'm planning for a client call, or maybe a client called me and I want to take a look at the books and have some talking points. So I'm going to go ahead and just click submit on that one, and it's going to go through everything. The prompt, of course, could be really customized based on the types of history you have with your client, the type of industry they are in, and you'll be able to really tailor the prompt so that way you have a good idea of the areas you want to talk more about. It's nice that the AI is also giving you some updates and status, because this is a fair amount of data that it's going through, right? So the agent is taking a look at everything, doing some editing on behalf, and we're seeing the transparency of the agent as well. And I know that's something that is often a bit concerning, because if the AI just goes and does something and we have no idea what it does, it's harder to trust it. In this case, Puzzle is giving us a really good breadcrumb trail so we understand, okay, what's it actually doing? And so I enjoy that. As a way to get ready for a client call, let's see what it says. Another tab and go through another agent and see what it's like if we run multiple at the same time. So of course, depending on the client, their revenue, their fundraising, anything that may seem material, as we might say in accounting, which any level of dollar amount that we would want to take a look at, highlight it, show the variances based on the prior period. And I'm going to just go ahead and click submit there. And again, it's giving us transparency into what it's doing as well. I'm also going to create a new one. So if I click again, I think this is helpful as, we even think about pre-auditing. Similar to the Flux analysis, anything that has a dollar amount threshold of 5,000, but there's no supporting documents and entries outside of business hours. So this is a great way to detect fraud. And this is something I think with AI is going to become more and more important. You can have AI create fake bank statements. Of course, we know that you could create entries in an accounting system just by importing a file, which is always challenging. So how do we prove things are correct? So I'm going to go ahead and just add to the checklist, and I'm going to click review, and I'm going to click submit. And then I'm going to jump back because it looks like the client call notes are actually ready. So I pulled the live metrics to get burn rate, runway, cash out date. So in this case, it's very much tailored towards a venture-backed startup. So the quick read is, as of the end of April, looks financially stable in the short term, has a fair amount of cash, good runway. Biggest issue is not a spike in spending. Costs were steady, weaker cash coming in. So maybe just a slower period. I would probably review this ahead of the call, but again, I could see myself being on the call, making conversation with the client and talking through cash being good. April cash coming in is lower. Let's talk about why that might be. Seasonality, a system we could recommend to collect money faster. Spending stayed fairly steady. Again, we would want to just make sure that's true from the business owner's point of view. And collections are the main risk, which we sort of alluded to at the beginning. And then I think this is also really helpful. There's an indication of how clean and complete are the books. Of course, we always balance relevance with reliability when we're doing things very quickly. And so the faster things happen, usually they're less reliable. That's changing, I think, in the age of AI and tech. Either way, we have an indication of what still needs to be taken a look at. I probably would have already done the month-end close checklist ahead of time if I had enough notice or this was a planned call. But if this was just a random call that ended up coming up, then I would really appreciate having these talking points. Awesome. We actually have another agent that's ready to review. So let's take a look at it here. This was the journal entry review and anomaly detection. So reviewed the April 1 to 30, so focusing on April here and giving things that we need to take a look at. So there's a round entry dollar amount over $5,000 with no supporting evidence, and it's a journal entry, 68 grand. And it even is giving me a suggestion here. Take a look at the payroll. But again, I would take a look at the payroll records for sure. Every accountant's bane of existence, clearing and suspense accounts. So there's transfers in and salaries and benefits clearing that is not clearing out as a clearing account should. Of course, sometimes there are true items that need to live in what I call purgatory, but there's a handful here I would definitely want to make sure are correct, or perhaps this would indicate that I need to double check the reconciliations are complete. Okay, so it sounds like the item that of the entry. So this might be something to take a look at or remove. Learn more about how exactly the system timestamps thing. But it says there's unreconciled clearing accounts. I completely agree. That would be a big thing for me to double check before I felt comfortable signing off on these books. And I didn't realize in the previous AI prompt, there's a next step. I could take a look and continue the conversation with the AI, which is really cool. All right, the last one here, as far as like a AI prompt to help you ready for a client call or speed up your month-end close. This is the Flux analysis. Again, it looks like there's no change. Oh, looks like there's a huge change from March to April. So either something's not, well, actually this doubles down on the previous issue where there's a clearing account balance. So that's highlighted twice. I'm glad salaries increased from 137,000. Sounds like we had a hiring spree. That's not too unlikely, but again, maybe something to confirm with the client. Subscription revenue increased. That's good. As far as just indicating, okay, this gives me a good talking point. Deferred revenue decreased. So this is something where I might want to reference any sort of accrual workbooks, either in the system or on my own. Uncategorized revenue increased. This is not something that I like to see on books, so I definitely would take a look at that. Processor receivable, again, that's one of those clearing accounts. I would want to take a look at customer receivables. Bank account balance increased 17 grand, again, tied to cash. So you can see there's quite a few items here, and even more detailed than some of the other prompts that we went through that, I could then use my judgment as far as what I want to go drill down on and take a look at before having that call or signing off in the book. So that's 3 AI prompts that were just out of the box. I think one of them we had to set up, but either way, really easy to get more insight on the status of the books and then take action on your customers' financials.